Hello, everyone. Good morning or afternoon. Welcome to our Friday TeloYouth webinar. Today's going to be our greatest hits with me right here in the same room as Dr. Chris. Hi, Dr. Chris.
Good morning, Dr. Tina. And yeah, this is great. We can get together here and just have a great time in Southern California here. We're looking forward to seeing all the members here.
Yes, let's talk about lifestyle. Lifestyle is, you know, so important when we're looking at how do we deal with so many different areas of our life. We're going to talk a little bit here about aging on our brain, our cognitive function. The number one thing that is the most biggest assault on the brain or lack of brain function is not exercising. So physical inactivity takes the lead, and you must exercise vigorously. This is gonna be different for someone, for all people. So for instance, let's say that you're just beginning to walk. Well, next thing you're gonna do is you're gonna walk and you're gonna be swinging your arms. Some people are pretty active, and you could dial it up and go running. So it all depends on the person, but you need to dial up that exercise.
Yeah, and it's really, we're not solving problems like we used to. We're medicating them. And this is why lifestyle is so important because we can reverse everything instead of medicating it. And these are just wonderful ways to address that. And obviously, exercise is number one, is so important. So then, of course, how we eat, right? Our
How
food.
we eat, yep, our
So
nutrient deficiencies. We've got to hit those head on. Why? First of all, our soil is depleted. We need minerals. We are from the earth, right? We need to have all of those good things in our body to help our mitochondria, help our metabolic functions. And because we don't, and we're looking at from a you know, bigger perspective, most of the Americans today, they're looking for that cheap fast food that tastes really good, addicted to the flavors. And then, of course, when you eat those foods, they have addictive chemicals in them to get you more addicted to their foods. So it's keeping us in the nutrient deficiency phase. So when you start looking at even shifting over to eating good, wholesome foods, today we still need to supplement.
we do, and yes, food is a big part of the problem, but because we know that the food that we provide here in our culture is so deficient, and unfortunately, we just get satisfied with hunger instead of getting satisfied with deficiencies, right, Dr. Tina?
Yep.
And so this is why it's a silent driver and causes over time chronic disease. So look at the food and the nutrient density of that food, and that allows you to just really recover number two and number three here. And then, of course, we have a toxic burden, right?
We do. We're not going to get around it. We are going to have a toxic burden. Last week we talked about liver cleanses, and I think that it's going to need to be something that we are all just going to have to add into our
Lifestyle.
lifestyle. Exactly. It's going to matter. So, we clean our homes, right? Everybody cleans their home or somebody cleans your home. You need to clean your body. So there's a daily cleanse that you do, and then there's going to be weekly, and then there could be quarterly or monthly. It all is going to depend on your toxic burden or your toxic load.
So don't go to medicating, go to lifestyle changes. Great. So here are top three hazards to Americans. And number one is the chronic disease of obesity. And it's multidimensional because when we start getting overweight, we create metabolic diseases. And so you have blood sugar, you've got cardiovascular, you've got neurological, there's so many things that are tied to it. So just look at the underlying cause here of what the obesity can cause.
Oh yeah, and you look at what is the number one drug right now going on out here in the
Ozempic.
Ozempic, GLP one they're called GLP-1 drugs. And yeah, Ozempic, Manjaro. Let's look at infectious diseases. This is a huge risk factor. Okay, why is this overlooked? First of all, when your immune system is compromised, you have more susceptibility to those infectious diseases, right? We're talking about COVID, Lyme's disease, all of these viruses. There's the norovirus or something that's going around. I don't even can't keep track of them. Flu. So this is a huge risk factor because if you, first of all, can't if your body's not strong enough to repel them or, to keep them out of your system where they're taking over, those can be very, very serious to try to get rid of.
We're bringing these hazards up so that you can really understand and just don't beat yourself up. Let's say, okay, I'm overweight, so I've got this, I just got to surrender. No, just gradually make some changes how you're going to improve the benefits. And the same thing with infectious diseases. There's this fear factor. Again, we're looking at conventional medicine, and they scare you into just getting an infectious disease instead of really realizing building back your immunity. And that's what our formulas do to give you the strength so that you can have the metabolic balance, so you don't have the obesity. You can have the immune system back so you don't get all these risk factors. And then, of course, we're just going back to the toxins again, Dr. Tina. It's just you can't avoid it. So this is why it's so important. Lifestyle is going the way that you're going to help us to deal with what we're being exposed to, right?
Right. And if you're, by the way, back to this infectious disease area, if you're listening to, the media, the general media, what are they going to do? They're going to say, oh, no, we have a vaccine for this. We have a vaccine for that. And that puts a toxic load, a chemical toxic load on your body. It actually brings down your immune system. And so your body has to look at how to deal with this assault that comes in via like a vaccination. Okay.
All right.
Oh, 3 emotional habits that accelerate our aging. We don't talk a lot about the emotional habits, but not spending enough quality time with your loved ones. Just traveling in the airport yesterday, people are all together, families, and every single one of them has a device. Or you go to a restaurant, all of the devices are on, nobody is talking to each other. So the word quality is important. And I don't know, I'm not the only one seeing this, right, Dr. Chris?
Oh, it's everywhere. It's pervasive. So again, we're creating a new culture, and it's unfortunate that we're just disconnecting. So the lack of time with nature, the mindset that we have that creates this, these obsessions that we
Yeah,
have.
well, addictions, they actually
Yeah.
become addictions. And when you're looking at the mindset, this is where we're being very clear about there's a rejuvenation mindset and there's a disease mindset. And, the rejuvenation mindset, that you can change wherever you're at, your health, your abundance, you can change your relationships. It's all about your vibration. We live a very vibrational, a frequency. We are all frequency. And depending on what frequency you're at, it's going to bring whatever it is into your life. That's what creates it.
And our emotions will help us to make the changes, right?
Our emotions are the gauge, right?
Mhm.
The emotions are what tell us what frequency we're at. So, someone who's in a very fearful emotion or depressed emotion, we know that the frequency is much lower. The vibration that you're dealing with is much lower, and that's what you're putting out there versus happy, joy, open, uh, willing to change. All of those things matter, right? They're different.
And let's talk about the sympathetic and parasympathetic. We're getting into this technical stuff as far as practitioners and teaching about how the body works in the physiology, but you really need to understand our dimensions that we go through as far as how we have stress throughout our lives and why TeloYouth is so important to help us understand to reverse all the things we're talking about you have to turn back the stress level, right? And the stress level is the sympathetic response. So it's necessary to fight or flight so we can survive, with all the challenges that we have. But remember, we're not sleeping at night to heal and repair. We're not getting the opportunity that we need. So the parasympathetic is so important. So here's where you can learn how to really facilitate the parasympathetic more at night and facilitate the sympathetic more and during the day. But both are necessary. Both create balance.
Interesting when, let's go back a couple of generations, sympathetic mode, you could even be awake and be in parasympathetic mode. You'd go in and out of parasympathetic versus sympathetic. What does that mean? Sympathetic is just your stress, constant stress. Today, if you are awake, you instantly move into sympathetic. It's what we're being bombarded with. And so you have to really take moments during the day to get into parasympathetic because it should be going on and off during the day. Here's the other thing, when people are eating, I'm just as guilty with this. I'm still in sympathetic mode when I'm eating my meal, which is not good. And you think about different cultures who would pray or meditate over their food and shift their energy before they eat their food. It changes the physiology and how your food is absorbed and utilized in your body. So it's about reestablishing good, healthy habits to try to get parasympathetic or that calming energy back into your life during the day.
Way to heal and repair. And just a great challenge for everyone is just forget about your device and think more about prayer and meditation. If you can just do that to really reestablish and reconnect. So now you can take a breath. You can relax your muscles. You can just digest your food, all the things we're talking about. And so the opportunity to just, sit down and, either if not in the morning, do it in the afternoon, just pick a time to do meditation or prayer. Just helps you to go inside because we're too much on the outside. This is what this whole, topic is about. We're too much outside and not enough inside.
Yeah, and another way that I kind of look at it is, being in alignment with your divine self, your inner being, your God self, whatever you want to call it. Everybody has it. That is who we are, but we step out of it a lot when we're dealing with life in general. But pets, loved ones, all of them can help bring us back to those places.
Yeah. Reconnect us to the inside again, right? And we've always talk about the Omega and how important the good fats are, but there's so many things to understand that when we have these low levels of the omega-3s, 80 to 90% of the Americans have, they have the risk as high as smoking. So the mortality risk of the deficiencies of omega-3s is the same as smoking.
What? Isn't that crazy? Wow. Even if you're not a smoker and you have low omegas in your body and phospholipids, you are deficient and you it's just as bad as smoking. Wow.
So again, this is such a wonderful marriage here between removing the stress with our TeloYouth and then helping with the fats with our Omega, and just creates so much differences. And then our cognitive, meaning our ability to really just understand what's going on in life, and longevity has to our direct connection with vitamin D. So we're going to give you a couple of other couple factors here that tie into this mortality rate. So vitamin D deficiency compromises the immune function, the cognition, and longevity. And then another one we talk about, Dr. Tina, is magnesium.
Yes, magnesium is also very critical when we're talking about cognition and longevity. And low magnesium in the body actually is a direct correlation to cancer. And so many other things. So if we are looking at 3 other things that you can do other than your TeloMega and your TeloYouth for cognition and longevity and boosting your immune system, making sure that you're, staying far away from some of these autoimmune challenges. Number 1, make sure, you're increasing your TeloMega because you're more than likely deficient. Number 2, make sure you're either in the sun for your vitamin D on a daily basis or taking supplementing vitamin D. I have to supplement vitamin D because of, and it's D3K2 because I live in the north. I don't get to be outside in that sun with sun exposure on my skin. And then magnesium. Everybody needs to be taking magnesium. A full spectrum magnesium is great. And there's different magnesiums that do different things for the body as well.
Right. And why does it connect to creating more cancers? Because it changes the DNA. So we alter the DNA in the body. So the key again about magnesium is green. All the green foods are loaded with magnesium.
So, right? And so you have to have that DNA repair on a daily basis. And that's where the magnesium is, it's so simple. It's just, but it's not in our foods that much anymore. So you do have to look at some type of supplementation.
Another driver here, Dr. Tina, the importance
Yes.
of exercise. And we say with the brain, but we're talking about whole body benefits from exercise. Look at all the dynamics.
Exactly. And circulation, lymphatic, the lymph system does not move unless we do. And that moves out toxins out of the body. We have to sweat. We talked about one of the best ways to get the microplastics out of our body is sweating. And all of the different things that happen when you're exercising, you need to sweat. Breathing, that deep breathing, the breathing rate all increases. It jumpstarts our kidneys for, getting the toxins out through our urine, our digestion. Boy, I'll tell you, if I am not exercising, that's my weak spot right there.
Right.
Digestion and, elimination. And so many people have that challenge as well.
It's connected to all the major organs, so you're looking at the lungs, you're looking at the heart, you're looking at the kidneys, you're looking at the digestive system, you're looking at elimination, right? And just exercise just supports it all. So again, such a key component to lifestyle.
Yes, just get on an airplane and you'll be increasing your stress and possible anxiety these days, just going to an airport. It's just crazy. So yesterday I was triple dosing on my TeloYouth and TeloMega.
Okay.
Oh, leaky gut. Let's talk about that gut. Why are we jumping here to the leaky gut, leaky brain? They're so interrelated, the gut-brain axis. This has just gained some popularity here in the last 5 years, maybe. But, if you have leaky gut, this means the junctions in the colon, in the gut, the small intestine, they're spread apart, okay? And they're supposed to be tight. And there's supposed to be a great, healthy inner layer to the colon and to the small intestine. And that gets compromised when we're looking at toxicity, especially like glyphosates. Those are the herbicides and pesticides. Think about it. Herbicides and pesticides kill bugs, not just bad bugs, all bugs. So we need the good bugs in our gut. And so if you're consuming those, which we all are, we're going to experience leaky gut. It's going to irritate. It's going to pull apart and inflame the gut. And that's the gateway to autoimmune disease.
And then, we emphasize on the brain how important it is to really understand the hydration, to understand the good fats, to understand the ability to just really, get engaged in life. So you start thinking, and again, going back to the inside instead of the outside, to allow us to really reconnect. So all the anxiety and depression, brain fog, dementia, and more is so much connected to the brain, but it's also connected to the gut. So the two just play such a major role with each other.
Electromagnetic frequencies, this blue light. If you don't have blue blocker glasses on your phone and your computer a lot, please make sure you're getting blue blocker glasses. You can get those right on Amazon. Not that I promote Amazon, but there's other great companies that have them, because you can see, as our technology advances, it really decreases the size of our brain, and they're actually showing this, right? And it's causing problems. And right away, when I think about this, I think about our little ones and the screen time that they have, because they absorb up to 10 times more of the wireless radiation than we do, because the skull is not fully developed, right? So those waves are getting in there, those nasty radiating waves, and here's some of the symptoms.
And they're invisible, so you don't even really make a conscious response to what's going on. But the things you do feel, the fatigue, the sleep disturbance, the headaches, the brain fog, the depression, the memory loss, the ringing of the ears, all of these symptoms, Dr. Tina, are just indicators of just what we're doing with our culture, right?
Right. Being on an airplane yesterday, it's like putting myself in a microwave oven and turning it on high and just zapping myself. So I found a great little EMF blanket that is nice and portable, and I put that around me when I'm on the airplane. Sometimes it's so cold in there anyway that it's very helpful, but it helps to at least offset some of the radiation that I'm exposed to. And then obviously here in a hotel room, there's extra electromagnetic frequencies. So just having those protectors on your phone, on your computer, one on my body, and then also having that extra blanket at night, putting it over me when I sleep. All of those things are going to help, so that you can just keep some of this, silent and invisible toxin away from you.
And it really is about our cultures trying to make more exposure from the standpoint of say, oh, we're making a better quality television. We have a better, telephone. We've got a better computer. Well, all things are better electromagnetic.
Oh my goodness, all of our smart appliances go into your kitchen,
Yeah.
it's just, it's crazy.
Yeah, so-
Lights and whatnot. We're not gonna get away from it. We just
Yeah,
need to
yeah.
strengthen and shift
And,
our bodies.
and reconnect to nature. Just look for nature time. It's so important.
Get out there and hug a tree, people. Put your feet in the dirt or the sand and your hands. Just get back to being a kid out there.